Hello. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
So I just wanted to kind of review what this first session will be like so you know what to expect. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. So what we'll be doing today is I'm going to be getting a little bit of your history, kind of what's going on with you, maybe what brought you to therapy and your goals. And I'll be asking you some questions um, specifically about you so I can find out how best to help you. How does that sound?
It sounds good.
Okay, great. So anything that you say here will be confidential, and feel free to answer in whatever feels comfortable to you.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to confirm that it's okay if I record this session just for informational purposes for me and to share with our professor.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, great. So let's just start off with what brings you to therapy.
Well, I've been feeling kind of down for a while. Um, at first, I recently moved and, at first I'm like, oh, it's just the transition and new environment but it's been like maybe over a year now and I don't feel like it's getting better and yeah, I just don't really feel like myself. Um, I'm more tired and don't really want to get up in the mornings. Um, so yeah, I figured maybe it doesn't hurt to reach out here.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like then you may be struggling daily with your energy levels and motivation.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Um, I started a new program like graduate school. That's why I moved uh,
Mm-hmm.
about a year ago, and it's going fine. It's all right. But it's also been hard to sort of live in a new place, away from friends and family and um, people in the program. It's a small program, and everyone has their own things going on, and yeah, it's sometimes I question if I really know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Was this the right decision being here? Like all my friends at home feel like it seems like everyone's just, you know, moving up in their work lives and positions and finding partners and traveling and just living their lives and I don't know. I don't know if what I'm doing, am I doing this right? I don't know.
What was that like for you moving away from where you were living and your family?
I made this decision because I wanted to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in the same place all my life, and after college, I went back and worked there, and I had friends there, and it just felt like it was time for a change, and it made sense relationship-wise. Like I wasn't seeing anyone serious. I wasn't in a serious committed relationship, so it just felt like it was the right time, and But now I don't know, like, it's been really hard, and I don't know that I necessarily long to be back, but I just didn't expect it to be like this. And yeah, it just kind of feels like my world is shrinking rather than expanding,
Mm.
and everyone else seems to be doing such cool things. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling maybe some overwhelm um, with the changes and, you know, being where you're in this like bubble of graduate school and everyone else's lives just continuing on. Um, what do you feel like you're doing, or are you able to find anything that is helping with your feelings right now, with being able to cope with the change?
Yeah, I used to have like a standing weekly call with one of my best friends, and that was really helpful. And I visited home like in the first year, and that was helpful.
Mhm.
But now, that friend is moving abroad with her new partner, and like the time zones are just hard. So we haven't been connecting as much, and everyone's so busy. Like all of my friends back in New York are like their jobs take over their lives, and they're always working or doing things. And like, just feels like they've forgotten about me. And everyone was a little like, like snobby New Yorkers, like, why are you moving from New York? Like, as if that's the only place on earth. Um, yeah, I just find myself scrolling on my phone a lot more, being in bed, sort of awake, but not really doing anything, and just not having a lot of energy.
Mhm.
Um, I do what I have to for school, but it's not like I'm super motivated or excited or anything. Um, yeah,
How are you feeling? Like, how was your sleep and your patterns there?
it's weird. Like, I'm tired all the time. Doesn't matter how much I sleep or the quality of it, it seems. Like, I could I could go to bed early, but sort of lie awake and have trouble falling asleep, or maybe like I'll sleep a good amount, but then I wake up, and if it's the weekend and I got, 8 hours or whatever, and I'm like, just kind of lay in bed and want to like sleep some more.
Mhm.
Um, it's disrupted. Like, I have this neighbor that is, I don't know what they're doing, but it's so loud. Um, they constantly have people over. But sometimes it feels like my brain can't turn off too. Like I'm tired, but then I can't sleep. And then when I do, I wake up and then it's hard to go back to sleep.
Mhm.
I just feel like I'm in bed a lot, but I'm not getting what I need in terms of rest. It's so weird.
That sounds frustrating.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this is something that is new. Have you had periods in your life where you've had these things happening as well?
I've never spent this much time in bed before. Like when I was in college, like there was always something going on, and I would be dragged out to social things, whether I wanted to go to it or not. And then after college, when I was working, like that was the corporate world. So like the hours were really long. And then even after getting off of work late, coworkers wanted to go for drinks or friends wanted to go out to a club. And it was more like I it was more like I was a miracle that I was able to function on how little sleep I got. So this is sort of new, yeah. Like I've never sort of no one's pulling me out anywhere. No one is, dragging me out here. It doesn't seem like people go out as late here, and it's not the kind of like bar hopping nightlife in New York City that goes on for hours. Um, yeah, everyone, I don't know what everyone does here. They seem to be doing their own thing, but I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Um, were there any other times in your life that you felt anything like the exhaustion that you're feeling? Sounds like that is kind of a newer element.
Not for this long.
Okay.
I think there's been times like after finals in college or after a semester in high school where things felt really intense. And then I would like sleep for a weekend or take it slow for a week and sort of bounce back almost.
Mhm.
Um, this has been going on for a while, and I don't know if it's a new city or if it's the school or if it's me. I guess I'm just really not sure what I'm doing with my life.
Mhm. So that's a perfect time for me, I feel like, to ask, what were you thinking that you'd like to uh, work on in therapy? Things that you were liking, maybe goals of yours?
Yeah. I'd like to no longer feel like I'm in this funk, this
Mhm.
extended funk. Um, and I feel like I keep having these reoccurring thoughts of what are you doing? Like what is this for? What is the plan? Um, you don't have to drive when I'm here. I hate driving. And every time I get into some fender bender situation, I'm just like, it's so not worth it. Um, I guess I mean this is silly, but I kind of want to just figure out my life. Like what am I here for? Am I here forever? Like what am I doing? And I guess I haven't been putting any focus on my dating life since I've moved out here, and I don't know. I don't really want to venture out on the apps. I don't know.
Okay. That gives me some good information on some things that we could potentially work on. So thank you. So I wanted to ask you, um, what what your history is, if you've been to therapy before, and if you did, what was that experience like?
Yeah, I've had brief sessions of counseling, um, just sort of drop in like college. There was a guidance counselor in high school, but nothing sort of outside of that environment, school environment. Um, and it was helpful to talk to someone about what I was going through. And it seemed fine at the time, like whatever it was had passed, and um, yeah, I still think about like past counselors sometimes, and just sort of grateful for the support at the time.
That's great. What do you feel like made that helpful for you and support?
The non-judgment,
Hmm.
the listening, um, normalizing sometimes, like what I'm going through, or the stress or anxiety is, makes sense for what I was going through. Like, and sometimes school is like really overwhelming. Like there's like all the classes and there's just so many people. And so sometimes it's just about being in a room with just one other person and it being a private, quiet environment.
Mhm. Could you give me more information about your use of quiet? I'm curious.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting now that you bring that up because I'm thinking about like my life back in New York and in college where there was like always so much going on and I didn't necessarily get the quiet that I needed or wanted. And now my life is so much quieter. There's not a lot going on other than school. But there's also like it also feels very lonely, I guess. Like there's there's no one here to hear me. My school calendar schedules like doesn't line up a lot with some of my friends who are working, so like we can't it's hard to do visits and
Mhm.
plus it's expensive and yeah, I guess in some ways I have more quiet now than I ever had before. But it's also like uncomfortably um feels like a hole.
Hmm. Like an emptiness?
Yeah, like when I come home after classes, it's just me, like in class there's someone telling you what to do and you do it and you get a grade and you do the thing. But now, I get home and yeah, there's like homework and papers and stuff to do, but it's I push it off and
Mm.
it's a lot of emptiness.
This makes me curious about what it was like for you growing up.
Mm, I definitely wanted more free time. My parents tended to um, keep us very busy. Um, they were very academically, like, they pushed hard for academics. It wasn't something that they had a lot of themselves, and like as immigrant families often are, they really pushed us to achieve and study, and so yeah, like every minute of my day was basically planned, often not by my choice. For as long as I can remember, I don't I don't even remember what I played. I read it as a kid, but I don't know if I like played much. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any mental health history in your family? Anything like that you want to share?
Um, my parents are um like immigrants, uh and they didn't or don't really understand or believe in like therapy, counseling stuff, so they've never gone, and I don't know, like there's probably stuff there, like I wouldn't be surprised if my one or both of my parents have depression or anxiety, but they've never been diagnosed and I don't actually know, and I don't know anything, but um,
Okay. What was your family like with like your relationships with your family members growing up?
yeah, they were really busy, and they were busy navigating a world in which they didn't really speak the language. They worked long hours and had um, multiple jobs, but they always made sure that there was dinner for us, and they worked really hard. They wanted us to have a better life, and um, saved a lot of money, like worked hard to save. And I would say, like, we were physically cared for.
Mhm.
They didn't have much time, nor did they know how for emotions or anything like that. I think it was more of a survival and get to a better place mentality.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think they sacrificed a lot. They left a lot of their family behind.
Yeah, that sounds really hard.
Yeah.
Where did your family immigrate from?
They immigrated from Taiwan.
And how long have they been here? Were you born here?
I was not born here. I came over when I was 4, and I am 26 now, so I've been here for 22 years.
Um, I just wanted to kind of segue into if you had any medical conditions that you wanted to share with me, just so I can make note, chronic conditions, or if you're currently taking any medications.
Um, I've been on iron supplements ever since my blood test showed that my iron levels were low. That's been about 3 months. Um, Other than that, no, I haven't been. Yeah.
Have you noticed any difference since taking the iron?
A bit, I would say. I haven't gotten retested yet, so I'm not sure what my levels are like now. I think maybe physically, I've been able to like start going on walks again. Like that for a while felt like it wasn't really doable. Um, but I think like mood wise, it hasn't changed much.
I'm glad you're able to go on walks. That's great. Um, so I just want to ask this something that I ask all my clients in the initial session. Just wanted to confirm if there were any times that you felt unsafe, or if you felt like you wanted to harm yourself or others.
Yeah, no harm to others and feeling unsafe like I think as any um woman might feel walking by myself out at night. Um but in terms of yeah, I don't have any active thoughts of self-harm. Um but sometimes I'm like, does it matter that I'm here? Like, will anyone notice if I'm gone?
Okay. Um, do you have any abuse or trauma that you'd like to share from your past?
No, not at the moment.
So I imagine that your family as immigrants are experiencing some of the challenges of coming from a different country and speaking a different language. Um, so I'm sure that has impacted you and your family as well. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about your parents' history. Um, so do you feel that if I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that the things that you're really wanting to work on are kind of trying to figure out like if your choice to be in school is the right choice for you, um maybe working on connecting with with friends and finding out a way to do that with your busy schedule of school, and maybe exploring your feelings of this like kind of existential dread maybe of your place in the world.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if there were any cultural, like how you identify culturally, in addition to your background as an immigrant, and then maybe how you identify spiritually.
Mm. I identify as a Taiwanese American. Um, I would say that growing up there was a lot more community of people like my family. Um, there was like access to like food and supermarkets and that sort of thing. But now in like Denver, Colorado, it's not like that.
Mhm.
So sometimes I miss having access to like food. And then spiritually, I'm not particularly religious, and didn't grow up that way, and don't think much about spirituality, I guess.
Okay, great. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with me that we didn't touch on that you think would be good for me to know so that I can better support you?
Um, so like when I used to live in New York and we would go out at night, like my friends, they party hard, and like, I'll have like a couple drinks with them socially. Never been like a huge drinker. Um, but I miss the feeling of like, sometimes I miss the feeling of just being freer, I guess. And I have noticed that, I'll grab a bottle of wine from the grocery store sometimes, and like I don't think I have a problem. Um, but I also didn't really do that before, like have drinks by myself. But it's not like I don't know that I'm drinking that much more. It's just a way for me to sort of like get out of my head a little bit.
Hmm. And you said before, you mean before you moved for school.
Mm-hmm.
So when on those nights that you do grab a bottle, how much do you think you're drinking? Could you say on average? Let's say glasses, if that's helpful.
Yeah, I guess I would have like 2 glasses of wine. Um, but sometimes if it's the weekend and I know I don't have class the next day and I don't have anything in the morning, like I don't really feel like sleeping yet, I'll have another. But that's not always the case.
Okay. Are there any other substances that you're currently using or even just time to time using?
No.
And before you moved, how would you describe your drinking habits then?
Like I would either have dinner at work or we go out for dinner, and then like I would go out with friends and they would, everyone's drinking. So I'll have like sometimes if we go to multiple bars, I'll like have a drink at each place. But I would usually be the one helping care for others when they're like had too much. And it would be sort of spread out over the night. But that was like also the scene. Like
Mhm.
if you didn't do that, there wasn't much of a social life. It was just, you know.
And did it have any impact that you've noticed on any other parts of your life, like your job or relationships,
You mean then or now?
then and now?
I mean, it's hard to say then. I think it was just the culture, and I didn't have any real responsibilities other than for myself and whatever job I was in. So, and everyone did it. So it just kind of felt like if we all went into work hungover next morning, like everyone was sort of hungover. And now I guess I mean, I think sometimes my brain feels a little foggy in the mornings, but I can't tell if that's because I'm tired or because of the extra glass of wine, or I also just feel like, alcohol impacts me more now than it used to, like in college. So that could just be my body. Um,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like your social life has changed so much from when you were in New York in so many different ways, from there to Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, sounds silly, but like I knew what to do in a city. I know how to like be in a city. There's so much going on. And here in Colorado, it just feels like there's so much emptiness. Like I don't know what people do all day. Um, they don't seem to go out the way people in New York do. And yeah, and I guess it's been hard to like not have there's not a ton of Asian people here.
Mm.
Um, and those that are, it seems like they're really into like hiking and the winter sports and that thing. So people don't mind driving for hours. I don't know.
It's a much different culture.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. I have some great notes for myself. I think there's some amazing things that places we can start. Um, so the next session will be, now that we've kind of established, I can kind of a little bit of your back history. I still will be looking for more as well. We'll kind of sprinkle it through, but I am going to check in with you next time to see kind of where you're at and where you want to start. And so we can make this time together be as helpful for you and driven by you as possible. And if there's anything that you think of or any questions you have, feel free to just send me an email, or you can give me a call anytime between now and our next session. If there isn't anything else that you'd like to share, I want to just thank you for being available and being open to sharing some of your story with me.
Thank you.
And I will schedule time for us to see each other soon. I hope you have a great day.
Sounds good. Thanks.